A very good morning to you on this beautiful Friday morning. It's sunny out there. I'm just looking outside the window, and hopefully it's going to be warmer today. The temperature did drop in the last couple of days, and I walked off the uni in my sandals yesterday, and I was cold all day because of it. So hopefully, fingers crossed, today the temperature is going back up, and we can do some beading in the garden. Right, today I'm going to show you something really quick actually, but we have got this beautiful new clasp, and actually I'm going to turn you down so you can see what I am talking about. So we have got this beautiful new clasp. Let me just zoom in. And I really wanted to show you different ways how to connect them to necklaces, bracelets, whatever you're going to make. Sometimes it's so nice to have a decorative clasp because it kind of becomes the feature of your make, necklaces or bracelets. I have used this beautiful 12mm jade beads, mixed jade beads here, and I'll show you. There's a couple of different ways how we can connect these to our bracelets. So I've got another two shapes here, but before we get started, let me just close this window here, and then I am gonna pop you over to the website. So I hope this when you don't want it on the computer, you get all these little windows popping up everywhere. It's like, no, go away, I don't want you. Right, let me pop you over to the website quickly. So by now you know totallybeads.co.uk. You need to go, you're going to click on jewelry making and go into video tutorials, and there we go. Just another little pop-up window came up for me, and you're going to scroll down. We got hundreds and hundreds of tutorials going back to last 5 years, long time. And fancy jade sparkle bracelets I'm gonna click on, which is what we're doing today. I just sort of asked Simon to put some spacer beads in there, put the jade beads in there, and then they are the clasp right at the bottom. So do have a look, because they look really, I don't know, they look really professional. They look like really expensive, but they're not. And then they can really make something, a bracelet or a necklace, like just a little bit more. So I'm going to show you how to connect them, because they got this funny little end on them, and then we'll see. But why is this? You haven't seen what I was doing, because why is this just stuck on that page? Hang on, let's go back. Now we're there. Is it scrolling now? No, it doesn't let me scroll, but it's stuck on the page. So those are the clasps. Oh, computers this morning. As I turned it on, it asked me, would you like to update? And without thinking it, I clicked yes. And it, but that was another program, so it didn't, so if I come back, and then go back, and then you can see. So it's not scrolling my screen share, but you can see, and the beads will be right at the top. So jewelry making, jewelry tutorials, and you will be able to find today's page, which is, if I do go back, let me just go back so I'll show you. There we go. So I'm just going to come back to my table and then go back. And then it's this one, the fancy jade sparkle bracelets, of what you are looking for. Right. So shall we get started? I'm going to come back to my table, and I'm going to show you this little class. Now there's a couple of different ones here, and I made one up bead which has got two ends, and both ends can be openable, and this one where only one end is openable and the other one is just sort of like a little link, but I'll show you how to connect that. So open and close it. They have got like a little, let me just zoom in on this. Is it? I'll take it out. So I want you to focus on this. Just give the camera 1 second. Coming up, going down, one needs to go down. There we go. So they got like a little ridge in there where it connects into, so it's really nice and secure. And I would just pull this open like that, and then you can take whichever side on this one, because it's both sides the same, whichever side you're opening, off and open your necklace or bracelet, your jewelry, what you made, then put it back in and then close it back. Very, very easy. I really do love clasps like this. There we go. I'm sort of trying to hold on to all of it, and then I'm just closing back. You're just gonna push on it and it's gonna go into that, but it's very, very secure. So now connecting it, as you can see, we have got like a little ball shaped, you can glue things, like so if you had any macrame or anything like that, you can glue it in there. But if you want to connect tiger tail, you've got two little holes to play there with. I think one of them's got one hole, this one has got one hole, but it has got that little ridge going across, so we can still connect things to this one. But I'll show you a couple of different ways. So let's get started. Tiger tail I need, and I'm gonna very quickly say hello to everybody. Good morning, Rachel, Jan, Camille, Anastasia, good morning, Elaine, Judith, Joanne, Richard, good morning, Edward, good morning, Camille, Anastasia. I was on the page and I wait for classes to oh bless you. So we're gonna be using with this one, we don't really need like jump rings or anything like that. We only gonna be using crimp beads, and we're only gonna be using a crimp cover in one of the cases, but in the other one, like it's depending on how you want to hide it, how you want to hide your little sometimes with this one I pulled it through and I just crimped it right next to that bead, and my little spacer beads almost covers it, so I'm not too worried about that one, because like you won't be able to see it from further away, so I didn't add a crimp cover on there. This one, when I come back on this side, I added a crimp cover because I didn't want it was very, very visible sitting there, so I did a crimp cover on the top of that one. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to show you this one first, and I'm going to show you two different ways actually. So one way I would add the clasp on this one, so this one has got two holes, as we can see. I'm going to go up through one of the holes. I'm going to pick up a crimp bead. I'm going to take, actually I'm going to bend this over here, and I'm just going to crimp this crimp bead. I'm going to bend the tiger tail and kind of sort of fold it over, and I'm just going to crimp this crimp bead right on the top. So what this is going to do, the crimp bead actually is going to sit outside. So I'm just going to crimp it there. The crimp bead is going to sit outside of the clasp. And why is that important? Because once we add a bead onto it, and I'm just taking the end through the other little hole there. So when I pull this, the crimp is just going to sit inside the clasp. And once this is closed, we're not really going to see the crimp there, but it's just going to a little mechanical function. But what this allows us is to give us a nice sort of straight edge here. There is no crimp beads, there is nothing sticking out. So when I add a bead on here, which color shall I choose? These shades are so nice. I'm going to do this one. So when I add a bead on from the other side, let me just trim this tiger tail. Then what happens is the bead are able to go up right to the very edge of the clasp. So you got a really nice flash finish with this one if you do it that way. And then I'm just going to grab any of the spacer beads and fill up my bracelet. So I'm just gonna make a pattern, any pattern. All these mixed shades are sort of mixed colors, and they're really nice because sometimes I love doing, well, sometimes I'm getting better at it. Let's put it that way. I used to be really bad at trying to do random strand of beads or random, like from mixes. Even when I was like sort of adding them on, I would kind of unconsciously, I guess, sort of stick a pattern in there and pick them up that way. But I'm getting better at doing random sort of arrangements on necklaces or bracelets, which is good. I love a bit of a random. I love working with mixes, because when you work with mixes, you can have you can wear then that piece of jewelry with any of the colors inside the bracelet or necklace, because it will pick the color out from it. So I'm just gonna need a couple more very quickly, just strung it all the way down. I need 2 more. So I started with a bead, so I really want to finish with a bead as well. And in this case, what we're going to do, we're going to crimp it just on the other side. So I'm going to hide this end in. I'm going to tuck those in. I could cut it off, but I can just tuck it inside those beads. Then I'm going to let the rest to come down. Now I'm going to turn, sort of come back on myself with the target tool, so I can crimp it kind of sort of anywhere. I need 1 more bead, so I'm going to crimp it here, but you can crimp it further down in the bracelet or necklace as well. So I'm just going to pick up a crimp bead. Then I'm going to pick up my jade bead. There we go. And there's the clasp. I'm going to go through the end of the clasp just to go into 1 hole, and then come back and just come back through the other hole. So this time I didn't crimp it outside of it, but I could have done. So I could add a crimp bead on here and crimp it inside the clasp. I just want to show you another option. And I'm going to pull this up nice and tight. Then I'm going to take my tiger tail through. I'm not just going to take it through the crimp bead, I'm going to take it further down, just a couple beads, so I can then crimp it nicely and freely, and then there won't be any little gaps. So I'm going to pull on the tail end, and I'm just pull this up nice and tight. There we go. And then I'm going to go in and I'm just crimping it, that little crimp bead there. So in this case, our crimp bead is almost visible. Well, it is visible, but you can't really see it. Just trim the end. And in the other way, our crimp bead is in the clasp. So there's a couple of ways to kinda, and let me just close this back in. A couple of ways for you to experiment with it. So on this side, but you can't really see it, the crimp bead is there, and on this side, the crimp bead is in the clasp. But that's 2 ways to do it. Good morning, Debbie. Will this be set order or separate? So on the website, for some reason, when I'm gonna pop back, for some reason, when I click on it, it doesn't changes. Doesn't sort of change what I'm showing to you, but is this one, the fancy jade bracelets, you want to go in there for. I'm just going to come back for a sec so I can then go back, and at the bottom of that page the clasps are separate, so you don't have to it's not a kit. I really love these clasps, and I really wanted to have and show them different ways how you can connect them, because they look so professional and they're so nice. So something like that definitely would look like a store-bought item, and really easy to work with, and how you connect them up. Right, another way I'm going to show you, and I'm going to show you this clasp, and I'm going to get another color of jade mix out. For this one, there's plenty of jade mixes on the page as well. Which color shall we do? I'm going to do the purple one for this one. It's got sort of lighter and beautiful darker shades of purple in there. Morning, Mina. Right, so what we're going to do with this one, again, we got a choice how we're going to crimp one side. So I'm going to open this up, and I'm going to crimp it So this one is only have one hole in there, but it's not a problem at all. I'm gonna go in. We have got this little sort of divider, kind of sort of bar in the middle there. I'm gonna go in here now. It depending, if I'm just doing smaller beads, I would probably just sort of come through and crimp it on the end and leave it there. If I want to do larger beads, I tend to double crimp this one because there's only sort of one hole at the end there. So I'm gonna go up, I'm gonna pick up a crimp bead, I'm gonna crimp this just somewhere along the line at the end, and this will be hidden in a clasp. And then I'm gonna take back my end, but I want to end up so the tail is gone in one side of the bar, and I want to come out of the other side of that bar. So if my crimp fails at the end, it's still not gonna come off because they're just gonna sort of kind of sit gonna sit on the bar. So I'm gonna start adding my beads on here, and I'm gonna add another, just cut some off. I'm gonna add another crimp bead on this one just to be sure. So any bead, and once again I'm gonna use a spacer bead. Which one shall we use? I'm gonna use this Stardust one because I really like these ones, and it was in my little bag. So I'm going to use this little start. Any spacer beads will do. And then I'm going to add another one. And I just caught myself picking at the colors, so I have to stop it. So I've got a couple on there. And then before I go any further, I'm going to add a crimp bead on this. Just get all of those beads through both of the ends just to double secure it. I'm just going to take this crimp bead down and then just sort of crimp it right there. Now if I want to, I could add a crimp cover on this one, but I think we will be okay without a crimp cover. So I'm just going to go ahead and add all the beads on there quickly. I love working with larger beads sometimes because your jewelry grows very, very quickly. You can make them in minutes. I love my bead stitching too, and stitching beads together for hours, but sometimes it's so satisfying just to make something in 5 minutes and you are actually able to wear it. There we go. I'm just quickly gonna strand this up. I love this jade beads. They're all faceted as well, but it's not sort of sharp. It's like I call this like sort of soft faceting because they haven't got sharp edges like crystals, but nevertheless the light catches it as it goes along. So I just want to make sure I tuck the end in the beads. There we go. And adding this all the way down. Oh, Heather is saying, sorry I'm late, had to wait for my break. So I'm just showing you how to make some bracelets. Well, I'm doing bracelets, you could do necklaces, because you got these beautiful clasps in, and I really wanted to, I think that's the right amount. I really wanted to make a couple of stuff with it to show you how beautiful they are, and it's really sort of easy to work with. Then most of them have got but one side or two sides, and then loads of little diamantes on them, but they are really sort of beautiful. I think they look really professional to work with. Right, so we are on the other side now. This one hasn't got a hook on the other side, so you just got a heart-shaped sort of little, almost like a sort of an end of a toggle here. However, if I turn this to the side, you can see there is a front and a back to it, and there is those little gaps in between them. So we're going to hook into one of those gaps. Now find how do you want this to sit. So I'm just going to pop this in for 1 sec, and I want to see how exactly I want, because we're going to have to go on the opposite side. Once you're rearing it, it's going to pull it to the opposite side. So I kind of want to hook into that one, that little one there. So I'm just going to come out. So I'm going to pick up, I'm going to crimp bead, there we go, and then I'm going to go through, I'm just going to catch that, let me just take it down, that little bit of metal on the clasp, and then I'm going to go back through the crimp bead. What I love about this, that there is no, you don't need any jump rings, nothing at all. Oh, and haven't told you about the best bit. We're still running the 21% off for our birthday. I can't believe Total Beads has been going for 21 years. Right, let me just go back on that. And I want to take the end out, sort of a couple of beads further down. So I have got, when I pull against it, I can put it quite nice and tight. So all I'm going to do, I'm just going to pull on the end and hold on to the clasp. So it really pulls in. Just pull in a little bit more. I don't really want any gaps there. And then I'm going to go in and I'm going to crimp that. And in this case, because it's right by the clasp and it kind of looks like a little bit flat, I'm going to add a crimp cover on there. Now there are crimp covers in Stardust as well, I think, but I've only got the plain ones, but they will look just as nice. I'm going to trim the end first. So that's done. Now crimp covers are these little C-shaped findings. And first what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pick it up with my pliers. So I'm just want to hold it like the C, the opening end sort of outwards from the plier itself. So I'm ready to kind of push it over the crimp bead and then close it on in there. So I am just going to hold this up. So I usually kind of sort of pull the beads away and then just go in. And then I'm just ready to squeeze. I haven't squeezed it all the way. I just squeezed it enough that it's not going to fall off. Then I'm going to turn it and I'm going to give it a little squish from the other side. Then I'm going to turn it back in and a little squish from this side. And I'm just going to do this a couple of 2 or 3 times until this goes into a nice little ball shape there at the end. So then it's all, my crimp bead is all covered up and I have got a nice, I'm just going to close this in, a nice little bracelet with a beautiful clasp on there. But there's so many different things, you know, but it's just easy because we don't need clots, we don't need jump rings, you don't need anything. You kind of sort of work on the clasp itself. I really do love these ones. Let me just zoom out a little bit so I can show you the other ones as well. I love this round one, and this one is beautiful as well, and that one at the top. Let me just bring this one in as well. So do have a go, and you could use it with any beads really. And I was just saying, Kitty, thank you for sharing how to use these logs. They are beautiful and really easy to do. So please do have a look at them. I think they're gonna be a good one to just to sort of play around with. I'm like already thinking I want to make some more and some other bits and pieces, but yeah, very easy, nice. Really do love those clasps. Right, so what you need to do is to get 21% off of your order, if you're still listening, is to put BeadClub 21 in the other checkout, and whatever is on the page, what is on the website, you're going to get 21% off. That offer is finishing very soon because it's a month of May. We're celebrating 21 years of Totally Beads, but please do take advantage of it. The clasps are £2.50, but if you take the 21% off of it, then they're under £2. So I think for under £2, the clasps like that are it's really good value for money, and you can make some beautiful jewelry with it. Right, I am off. I'm going to go and have some breakfast, and I'm in the Bead Club this morning. We are making a lavalier necklace. I'm just gonna bring it in and show it to you because I really like this one. So we made it a little sort of pouch we're making, and then you can change the stone inside it. So I just taken that one out, and then I'm gonna put this black one in. You can put another little stone in the pouch itself, or a pebble, or anything small you find, and then close the crystal on the top of it, and then you can wear something else different as a pendant. I really love this project. So everybody have a beautiful weekend. I'll be back next week, and yeah, it's bank holiday weekend in the UK, so we got Monday off as well. I'm not sure what we're doing yet, but definitely I wanna go out if the weather is good. So I'll just take Roxy for a nice walk, since she's already got about 3 weeks until hopefully the puppies are coming. So I want to take her for a nice long walk. Right, everybody have a beautiful day and a beautiful